Thank you, Congressman Walz. First question is on the U.S. economy. We'll go to Mr. Davis. A little bit of background. The U.S. economy has been shaky for the past couple of years, but took a decided downward turn in 2008. Government's own statistics and reports provide the details. According to the U.S. Department of Labor and its Bureau of Labor Statistics, non-farm payroll employment continued to trend down. In August, 84,000 jobs were lost. Since peaking in December, non-farm payroll employment has declined 605,000 for an average monthly job loss of 76,000. Consumer prices are on the rise. During the first 8 months of 2008, the Consumer Price Index rose at a 5.1% seasonally adjusted annualized rate. This compares with a 4.1% increase for the first 12 months of 2007. Gasoline prices increased at 22.1% in 2008. Home values. According to the National Association of Realtors, resales of U.S. single-family homes and condos fell 2.2% in August to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.91 million. Resales have fallen 10.7% in the past year. The government's own pocketbook. The Congressional Budget Office projects a budget deficit for year ending September 30th in the $400 billion range, a near record. I believe that has been estimated upward now. The question is, given these downward spiraling indicators, what, if anything, can Congress do to get these pillars of our economy headed in the right direction? What can Congress do to foster creation of jobs, keep inflation and gas prices in check, and provide more stability to home values? Mr. Davis.
Well, clearly we are in an economic downturn, if not an economic crisis. As you said, we have the highest inflation rate in 17 years, and unemployment rate going up to 6.1%. My view, a lot of this has been precipitated by an energy crisis that served to show some of the underlying weaknesses of the economy. We had increased gas prices up to $4 a gallon over the summer. People that are working 1 day a week just so they can pay for gas to make it to work. Increased diesel prices that affect our farm economy. Increased heating costs that people that are on even pay are paying more all the time for the summer for their heating, because that's from natural gas that we get from drilling. And also input costs for farmers and hydrosilonic fertilizers going up 200–300% over the past couple of years, because one of the constituents is natural gas. I think in a modern economy, that energy is the lifeblood of a modern economy, and that one thing that will help it completely is that if we get our energy costs down. We get 85% of our energy from fossil fuels, over 60% from drilling. We had a boom, if you will, from 1980 to 2005. That's what Alan Greenspan, the former Federal Reserve Chairman, has stated. That's due to cheap energy costs. We need to really work to get back to that point, all the while building up alternative fuels to see if they can replace some of it. I'm not optimistic that something that's less than 5% of the economy with respect to alternative fuels is going to be able to replace 85% anytime soon. So what we need to do to solve this problem is to restore confidence in the market. I think Congress needs to correct the underlying problem that required the bailout, and that is to go after Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the subprime mortgage market. That has been the root of this current problem. Frankly, a lot of stocks have been inflated in price. Arguably, a lot of homes in different areas of the country have been inflated in price. So we need to restore that consumer confidence by Congress doing the right job.
Thank you. Mr. Walz?
Well, Joe listed some pretty bleak statistics. Those statistics, as they ring out, they can sometimes go in and go out, or you can start to focus on them. You have to focus on the people. There are some underlying problems in this economy, and one of the things is we've had stagnant wages in this country that have absolutely, as productivity of workers has gone up, wages have stagnated. Healthcare costs have become unaffordable. We're finding college unaffordable. What's happened, and if you want to hear a real example of this, is the economy in America in 2008. A teacher in Alton Congler with 3 small children makes $29,800 a year. They have $17,000 in student loan debts as an average, and they pay $12,100 for their health care insurance. That's not the American dream. That's not the middle-class American dream all of us strive to. We have to start doing some things very specific, and make no mistake about it. This economy didn't get into this position simply like gravity. It was just the law of things. Things were put into place. Bad trade policy. We just passed a trade deal with Peru, and the president of Peru immediately afterwards said, "This is wonderful. Send your factories to Peru. We will build things and sell them back to you." That doesn't create jobs. I agree with Dr. Davis on one thing, energy. And the Bush energy policy that was absolutely failed and flawed, that said we would not do anything, we would have closed doors, and we would put all of our eggs in the proverbial basket, in this case the oil barrel. Yes, we can use domestic supplies, yes, we can use coal, but we also have to use the royalties. That oil doesn't belong to the oil companies. They can make the profits by extracting it. It belongs to our children and grandchildren. Use those resources to the tune of $1 trillion. Invest in renewable energies, create millions of jobs, reduce our dependency on foreign oil, and keep jobs right in southern Minnesota. But we saw the policies of the current administration and the policies that we're seeing many advocate for try and place blame. 85% of the loans in the home market were not made by Fannie or Freddie, and they were not made to low-income people. It was simply repackaging them, and there was abuses. Should they be looked at? Absolutely. There's plenty of blame to go around. Blame's not going to create jobs. Innovative vision for the future will create jobs right here.
Thank you, Mr. Walz. Mr. Davis, you have 1 minute.
I agree very much that we need to focus very much on productivity. We increase productivity, wages should go up, can go up. We also need to make sure that we have a proper business climate in this country. That 80% of new jobs come from small business. Appreciate very much that I've been endorsed by the Association of Builders and Contractors and also recently the NFIB. If we don't be careful with over-regulating too much, particularly with healthcare costs, we won't be able to create new jobs without maintaining this business climate. I am concerned about that. We need to keep regulation in terms of business to a minimum, a safe workplace, and that will foster the environment that will keep our economy going, coupled with getting our energy prices down.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Walz, you have 1 minute for rebuttal.
The issue of addressing the middle class is the issue of regulation. We've had an economic philosophy that said, cut taxes for about 3% of the population, take off all regulations, and allow Wall Street to do whatever they need to do. I don't need to convince you of what the outcome of that is. You just need to open your paper or look at the news. What we've done in this country is we've had a fair trade policy in the past. We've had fair business practices in the past, and we understood that wealth is created by the people. Wealth is created by those small businesses, most of which, 80-some%, have seen no tax cuts under the Bush administration. I would argue, and Dr. Davis said last night in a discussion we were having, he absolutely is for keeping the Bush tax cuts in place, but would not extend those to the middle class or to the small businesses. We need to shift where the burden has been, making sure that it's fair. That'll grow jobs.
Thank you. We have the next question.